I got to tell you, women's groups are really starting to give me a headache. They are, and I know we're not supposed to say it. We're supposed to genuflect, and the WNBA is among them. But first, our friend Pat McAfee has somehow riled him up. The internet, the whole internet is still riled up over his comment about Caitlin Clark. And look, good for you if you're riled up. McAfee talked to her. She didn't mind it, so you shouldn't either. So shut up. But you can't say white biatch. Oh, shut up. Well, now a far-left women's group called Ultraviolet is calling for McAfee to be fired for misogyny. Oh, man. It didn't matter that McAfee had said in the 5-minute clip all great things about Caitlin Clark. It doesn't matter that McAfee has been a big supporter. And really, it doesn't matter that I stand up for McAfee, but I am standing against these women's groups. He's a misogynist. You know, the world is weird. You can do 100 good things and say one thing even remotely close, and boy, we got to get rid of you. You know, it's like that old bridge builder, oral sex giver. You know what I'm talking about. Build one bridge. No one calls you a bridge builder, and they will call you the other. Anyway, I digress. Oh, well, what about any rap song? What about any popular rap song? You know, that song, Jump, Jump, that they do at Wisconsin, the next line is like slapping the hose. That's right. So they play that song. I don't hear Ultraviolet trying to cancel that. I don't know. Is this women's group calling for them to cut out their music labels? Is this women's group going nuts after them? Of course not. McAfee's a target, and they want Ultraviolet to be talked about. Ultra this. Look, and this is the text I sent McAfee yesterday, FEA, which stands for them all. That's right, them all of them, every one of them. It's a text I used to send to Urban Meyer and others when they were going through crap. Hey, look, stuff like this doesn't even matter a little bit. It doesn't matter even a little bit. I'm mad. Ultraviolet, we are mad. Really? Go over there and be mad. Here's what Ultraviolet had to say. Pat McAfee's apology, this is why you never apologize. You never apologize to these groups. You say, hey, I got an ass. Kiss it. That's what you say. Pat McAfee's apology for his racist and sexist comments about Caitlin Clark and other NBA players is insufficient. Of course it is. It's what we tell you. It's what Bobby Barack and I have been telling you. Of course it's insufficient because you can never please these jackasses. You can't at all. Like, I don't know, when all of these WNBA African-American women call Caitlin Clark a white bitch, I don't hear anybody standing up for her. I don't hear nobody saying nothing. I don't hear the NAACP condoning it. I don't hear nothing. McAfee said it as a slam on them, and all of a sudden his apology is insufficient. What's he supposed to do? Jump up and down, stand on his head, and crap snowballs? Never apologize to these jackasses. Under no circumstance. I don't care if you're caught naked doing something and they come at you. Hey, I don't care. Yeah, I'm living my best life. Do what the football players do. I'm a man. Only God can judge me. I'm moving forward. Leave me the hell alone. That's right. Never. The simple reality is that even if McAfee meant what he said as a compliment, he should know that referring to any professional athlete with a misogynist or racist epithet is never considered a compliment and shouldn't be done. All right. So what? Okay. It's not a compliment. Okay. All right. It shouldn't be done. All right. In your mind. In McAfee's mind, it should have been done. So what? Coupled with, now we're going to get to the crux of the matter. Now we're going to get to what's real. That all mattered not. It's like they say, if you say something and then you say but, whatever you said before the word but don't matter. Here it comes. You ready? Coupled with McAfee's pattern of promoting problematic falsehood, this is where the politics get it, including platforming Aaron Rodgers and allowing him to spread conspiracy theories about the coronavirus or Jeffrey Epstein demonstrate that McAfee simply does not have the necessary judgment that sports fans deserve. Oh, bite my ass. That's the best I can give you. BMA. Just shut up. See, everything before the political stuff does not matter. These, I don't know if they're women. I don't know if they're transgender. I don't know what the hell these people are, and I don't care. Whatever was said before the political does not, they don't care even a little bit about the Caitlin Clark thing. They're mad because they're crazy left-leaning loons. They're mad because McAfee doesn't step in line with their left-leaning stupidity. I mean, seriously, think about it. Who wants to step in line with the left-leaning conspiracy? All of a sudden, left-leaners, there is nothing about laptops. What are you talking about? Now, in court, it is admitted laptops. Hunter Biden's laptop. Left-leaning loons. We're glad you're here. Crazy-ass Greggy Doyle. Creepy-ass Greggy Doyle, who, by the way, today is writing about a young woman in Noblesville, Indiana. Were I that husband, the father of the young woman, I would be terrified. Not only about the young woman, but about the mother. Because Doyle has a history, as he's admitted in an article on me, of going after married women. Anyway, I digress. That was just a cheap shot. Anyway, these women don't give a rat's ass about what McAfee said about Caitlin Clark. They don't care even a little bit. What they care about is that McAfee thinks for himself, that McAfee thinks independently, that McAfee having Aaron Rodgers on his show talking about, anti-vaccinations, talking about Jeffrey Epstein, that pisses him off. Why would anybody be mad about anybody beating the hell out of Jeffrey Epstein on a daily basis? It appears to me these women are evil, these women are out of touch, and I'm guessing they've never done squat other than bitch, whine, and moan. So, Pat, advice, as I gave it to you in a text, FEA, all. And I do not mean that literally. Oh, God, I do not mean that literally. All right, Bob Costas in an exclusive interview with OutKick. Bob's been actually a friend of the show. Bob came on our show and tried to slap me around a little bit. Bob did an interview with our boy Danny Z. And, Bob's always interesting. Now, I think Bob was wrong when he said that the foul that Angel Reese took at the hands of another African-American woman, which drew a couple technicals and a kick out of the other woman, was not covered because it was black on black. I disagree with that. It just simply was called during the course of a game. Meaning, I'm going for a rebound, you're going for a rebound, I knock the hell out of you, or you knock the hell out of me, you do it too hard, next thing you know, or you do it intentionally, next thing you know, you're kicked out of the game. That's part of the game. Standing here inbounding the ball, getting knocked on your ass is not part of the game. But anyway, we could disagree on that. Anytime, anything involving Caitlin Clark is going to get a disappropriate amount of attention. That's right. This is Bob Costas talking. If she goes for 30, that's going to get a disappropriate amount of attention than if somebody else who scored 30 because she's a focal point. I understand that's the primary difference between Caitlin Clark and everyone else. Well, it's the difference between all great athletes and everyone else. Michael Jordan drops 30. Harold Miner drops 30 on the same night. Guess whose highlights you're going to see on ESPN? LeBron James goes down the lane and has a big-time dunk, and Joey Bag of Donuts goes down the lane and has a big-time dunk. You might see both of them, but you're going to hear about LeBron James much more. That's just the way it is. Serena Williams is playing tennis. She beats Martina Navratilova. Sally Rottenkratz plays tennis and beats whoever. Yeah, we ain't talking about it. Nah, it's just the way it is with stars. I mean, this is not earth-shattering news here. This is the way of the world. Like, when I do something in Indianapolis, it's going to be in the paper. When anybody else does, it's not. I get it. I promote it. I want it. But anyway, you have to be willfully blind to not acknowledge that a substantial portion of whatever resentment there is within the WNBA towards Caitlin Clark isn't just because she's received so much publicity. Well, no, but it is in there. That's just natural. Not just because she's making more money, but there's some resentment towards her because she's white. Duh. Which is really sad. I mean, it really is. I mean, think about how racist these young African-American women are in the WNBA. We don't like you because you're white. Spin that one around. Try that one. Hey, white guy, take that one for a spin in your workplace. Remember, whenever anything goes bad, this is now considered a workplace. Take that for a drive over at GM or Jeep or U.S. Steel. Hey, we all don't like you because of your color. See how that works for you. But in the WNBA, apparently that's cool. In the WNBA, apparently that's tolerated. And everybody knows this. I mean, Bob Costas is telling you this. Let's continue. There's no question about that. Yeah. But there's also no question that some people have targeted her for any combination of reasons. Absolutely. But that doesn't mean that it's also not concurrently true in a complex situation that there are other reasons. Absolutely. Some of the resentments has a racial element from some players, but not everyone in the league. Absolutely. Now, I've said it on here. Look, women, I would argue most of it is due to women jealousy. I've told you this before. I'll tell you this again. My wife has said this. Women can't stand women being successful, particularly in sports. They just can't. Doug Gottlieb on his radio show that I was on, and I talked about how catty the women that you see on ESPN as the little sideline girls and everything else are. Oh, man. Those Sports Center hosts, did any of them come out for Sage Steele? Hell no. And Sage, regardless of what you think about her politics, is arguably the nicest human being alive. Sage always stayed above the fray, outside the fray. But did any? Of course not. You know what they saw? How much was Sage making? That money's freed up for meat. For meat. They are the worst. My wife will point blank tell you. Dudes, we don't like you. Maybe we throw some hands. We get over it. Next thing you know, we're hanging out. Women, it never starts. And I've told you about the whole lesbian thing and how that is so cliquish. My wife has the greatest stories ever of coaching women's softball and the hassles of lesbians on her team. To the point where she actually went to the AD one time and said, look, is it possible that I cannot recruit lesbians? Because these people are crazy. That's a true story. And the AD said, yeah. What are you going to do? But then she did, and many of her friends are. But during their formative years, are you insane? I mean, it's crazy. The whole thing is complex. It is not just race. I've said this the entire time. It's women jealousy. It is race. It's like, wait a second, I am looking at you making $10 million a year while I'm making $67 a year. Oh, man, I don't like it. There's a lot of things, and Costas is not wrong. It's not just as simple as, well, she's a straight girl and we don't like straight girls, or she's a white girl and we don't like white girls. Oh, man, it's so much deeper than that, at least according to my wife. Here's the other thing. I want you to think about this. When you look at the WNBA, if I were the commissioner, I'd be like, yo, keep it going. You know, yesterday, I don't know if we have this in the rundown, yesterday, all of a sudden, oh, my God, we are being targeted when we get off the bus. Oh, okay. Really? That's the Chicago Sky. Keep it going. There's a lady named Cameron Brink. Cameron Brink is starting to give me a massive freaking headache. I actually thought this was in the rundown. Maybe I missed it. But Cameron Brink is now saying that white privilege exists because, well, you know what? White women can be more effeminate. Bullshit. I mean, Cameron Brink's trying hard, man. WNBA may have to shut up. Honest to goodness. I've never said that before, but these women have lost their mind. Cameron Brink's like the second-round pick, and she's trying so hard to be pretty. I mean, she is in bikinis more than she is in her uniform, according to my Knicks. I haven't paid that much attention to Cameron Brink, but she came out and said, listen, us white girls have white privilege. We should be using they and them. I'm not. I don't give a damn what some 18 to 24-year-old thinks I should be calling somebody. I am not. You can. Good for you. She says white women are inherently easier to be more feminine. What? I don't know, man. I mean, I guess, but I don't know. I don't know, old Cammy Brink. That seems imagine taking that for a spin. Imagine taking that for a spin in your workplace. Or go to local Kroger and have a conversation with someone and say, you know what, I just think white women are more feminine. See how that goes? I could go, listen to this. Actually, a second overall pick in the WNBA draft believes that younger white players in the league, such as herself, are privileged. Really? Okay. Actually, not just privileged in the general sense, but inherently privileged. I could go way deeper in this as the 22-year-old who is trying so damn hard to be pretty. But I would say just growing the fan base to support all types of players. Well, there you go. I will acknowledge that there's a privilege for younger white players. Really? What's that privilege? What? That's not always true. But there is a privilege that we have inherently, and the privilege of appearing feminine. Cameron Brink is on the right side of the media because she's trying really hard. She's wearing, the hoochie clothes. She's doing all that. But damn, take a swing doing this in your workplace. Try, if you work with African-American women, try to throw that by them. Try to throw that we don't like you because of your color in your workplace. Honest to God, the more we delve into the WNBA, the more idiotic it is. Holy hell, let's get out of here before I fall into another rabbit hole. Jeez. The Los Angeles Lakers are said to be in hot pursuit, not of J.J. Redick, but of an actual coach, and a great one, Danny Hurley. Danny Hurley, the coach of UConn, according to Woj, is getting a massive offer. Massive. And discussions between the two teams, or the two parties, Hurley and the Lakers, according to Woj, is real. Like, they're intensifying in the coming days. I don't blame Danny Hurley. Why wouldn't you? What the hell? Why wouldn't you? Now, here's the situation that happened with Tom Izzo when Tom Izzo was looking and wanting to be hired by the Cleveland Cavaliers, and it centers around LeBron. Tom Izzo told me he could never talk to LeBron. LeBron was the star of the Cavaliers. Izzo was going to come in as the coach. And guess what? He could not get to LeBron. That's right. The guy they wanted as the head coach, a Hall of Famer, could not get to talk to LeBron James. And Izzo said, well, screw this. I mean, if I don't know where the star player is, I'm not going into that league. I don't know how many coaches the Cleveland Cavaliers have had since Izzo turned them down, but it hasn't been two. Here's the same thing with Danny Hurley. Look, LeBron James and these guys all played, not LeBron, but others, all played for great college coaches for the most part. Danny Hurley comes into the NBA. He really doesn't have any cachet with them. He certainly does in college. But the first thing he's got to do, regardless of the money, is figure out where the Lakers organization is. Where's LeBron? Do I have to draft your kid? Are you even going to talk to me? Are you still about winning? You got to ask all those things. LeBron's old. Anthony Davis seems old. I don't know why you would coach that crew. You're going to be there, but it is the Los Angeles Lakers. It is. Now, the question becomes, is this a leverage play by Hurley? Well, Hurley did say in an interview with us that one of the great things about winning so much is it's forcing UConn to give him and his program and his assistants more. So if you're going to ask me, is this a leverage play, I would say partially. It's like we just talked about with the WNBA and their hateful shrews. It isn't always one thing. It's a number of things. So is it a leverage play? Maybe. Is it a desire to get out of the stupidity of college basketball coaching? Probably part of it. Is it an opportunity to coach the freaking Los Angeles Lakers? Uh-huh. Is it an opportunity to coach LeBron? Uh-huh. Is it an opportunity to test yourself against the best in the world? Uh-huh. Brad Stevens, when he was coaching the Boston Celtics, told me, it's kind of cool. There's a timeout, 14 seconds to go, and you got to figure out how to stop Kevin Durant. Like, that's the epitome of coaching. That's the epitome of playing. So it's all of these things. It's not just one thing that's going to factor into Hurley. Now, will UConn step up and give him more? Yeah, if they got it. Sure, why not? But then you get pissed as a coach, and you're like, wait a second. Why are you stepping up now? I've asked you for this before, whether it's more money for your program, whatever it is, doesn't matter. And now all of a sudden, because I got a little leverage, you're bringing it up? How about rewarding for 2 national championships? And then there's always the women's thing at UConn. You know, Gino Auriemma just signed another 5 years. He's 70 years old. He's going to go until he's Joe Biden, which is cool, which is great. And by the way, Gino Auriemma agreed with me and not with his former star player, Rebecca Lobo, when he said, of course, WNBA women are targeting Caitlin Clark, but I digress. So, things don't happen in a vacuum. Danny Hurley is smart to look at it. If leverage comes with it, wonderful. If he ends up with the Lakers, great, but I just don't see the fit. I just don't. Danny Hurley is old school. Danny Hurley is old school, actually combined with new school. He's kind of a hip-hop Bob Knight. That's a good description. Yeah, he's a hip-hop Bob Knight. He kind of acts in a certain way, but he's meaner than hell. Tougher than hell is a better word, not meaner. And, man, can he get the guys to play the way he wants them to play? Will that work in the NBA? Probably. I mean, what the hell? I don't know. But as my man Nick says, don't leave us, Danny. Don't leave us. LeBron is old. Anthony Davis can't stay on the court. Don't leave us. Here's my thing. I don't want him to leave because I like him. I don't really, and never have, watched UConn except when Ray Allen was kicking the living hell out of us in the third place game in Alaska. Now, I mean kicking the living hell out of us. Like we got on the plane going, oh, man, we can't win a game. Long story short, I like UConn now because I like Danny Hurley. I don't give a rat's ass about the Lakers. I think watching a game in Staples is boring because of the lighting, but that's just me. I'm weird that way. All right. Man. Jontay Porter. Jontay Porter is Michael Porter Jr.'s brother. Jontay Porter has been banned from the NBA because he fixed himself. No, not like a dog getting fixed. He fixed games on himself. You can't say he fixed games, although that's the broader thing. How do I put this? He fixed himself. Guys would bet on how many threes he's going to hit. They tell him bet the under, then he would take himself out. He's sick. So he fixed himself. It's an interesting dynamic, really unseen in the annals of really anywhere. It's kind of brilliant if you think about it. I mean, Jontay Porter played, 15 minutes a game. Could he really fix a basketball game? No. But could he fix the prop bets on him? Hell yeah. Yeah. So, Jontay Porter, though, I always tell you, there's more to the story. I always tell you, there's always a backstory. I always tell you, don't believe the first thing you read. Well, here it comes. There's a co-conspirator in this. There's a co-conspirator, and his name is awesome. What the hell? Long Phi Pham, a.k.a. Bruce. Long Phi Pham, nicknamed Bruce, was apprehended while attempting to board a flight to Australia with a one-way ticket at JFK. He had 12 grand cash, 2 cashier's check for 80 grand, betting slips, and 3 cell phones. Now, I don't know why the 3 cell phones, other than that's just an inventory of what he had. But the 3 cell phones, along with all of this stuff, makes it seem nefarious. Hey, man, that's how I knew Calvin Sampson and his cohorts at Indiana were cheating. They all had like 10 phones. Like, why y'all got all these phones? No, man, never mind. Like, all right, okay. All right, I'll never mind. The ticket was reportedly purchased a day after the government attempted to question one of FAM's 3 alleged co-conspirators who remain at large. Also, when you say who remain at large, that sounds like the FBI's 10 most wanted list. I'm kind of digging this. This is all right. The new information is that this idiot Porter had allegedly amassed significant gambling debts to one of the defendants, who is accused of encouraging him to clear those debts with a special. Meaning, he fixed himself, taking himself out of a game early to ensure certain prop bets hit the unders. This is a very nice way right here. Who is accused of encouraging him. Where's my baseball bat? If I had a baseball bat, hey, look, I like to have some swings in the cage, but you know what? I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to encourage you. I'm hitting a baseball bat against my hand. I'm going to encourage you to get sick And we're going to bet the under on threes. You good with that? All right, well, here it is. Among the messages included by prosecutors is Porter telling the defendant, if I don't do a special with your terms, then it's up. And you hate me? And if I don't get you $8K by Friday, you're coming to Toronto to beat me up. Just pay the man $8K. $8K? Are you crazy? That's tip money in the NBA. What's wrong with you? Go get a line of credit, pay $8K. Pay your own juice. Anyway, Porter then did the deal. He fixed himself by exiting a Toronto Raptors game January 22nd with what was diagnosed as a corneal abrasion. Porter allegedly told Feminist co-conspirators that he would remove himself from a game January 26, which he did, 0 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. He told team officials he had aggravated the corneal abrasion, but a video review showed no contact with Porter's eyes. Now, you're going to ask me, how do you get away? Or how do they catch it? Well, what happens is the biggest bet really ever on prop bets of indiscriminate players, or really not important players, is 10 grand. 10 grand. Well, guess what? These were bigger bets. These dudes were like, yo, we got a lot of money on Porter. So you go one place, you bet 10 grand. You go another place, you bet 10 grand. You go another place, you bet 10 grand. Guess what? It's all connected. All connected. And you know what? All signs point to Porter. Yep. They all do. Well, particularly a nondescript guy getting that kind of action on a specific game. Are you kidding me? This is the easiest case ever. This doesn't even take Columbo. Look him up. So anyway, Porter was going to get his ass beat. Now Porter's going to be charged. I don't know if he's going to be charged, but it seems like he's going to be charged with fixing games. Seems like he's got a bigger problem than just $8 grand. Look, yo, I'm an NBA player. Go pay the $8 grand. I mean, $8 grand? What are you doing? All this over $8 grand? You remember my motto. Don't complicate winning. Don't complicate life. $8 grand? Are you stupid? Jeff Passan, and this is probably true, claims, who, by the way, has America's most punchable face. I mean, he's that little guy that sticks his chin in there and you just want to go pop. Anyway, Passan claims social media played a role in Angel Hernandez's demise. His retirement, in quotes, from the Major League Baseball umpiring world. And that negative fan blowback ultimately forced MLB to cut ties with the infamous ump. Well, if that's true, you know what? Then Rob Manfred's weak as hell. I mean, look, I get it. Every time Angel Hernandez missed a call, the world jumped up and down. I get it. He became the target. I get it. It's like whenever I did a basketball game. Oh, you suck. You're the worst. Yeah. I suck. I'm the worst. I get it. You know, it's one of those deals. Well, the truth of the matter is, here's the deal. Angel Hernandez was out because he's a horseshit umpire. People caught on to it. The union was strong, but even the union knew he couldn't play. And, of course, social media played a part in it. It makes me wonder, like, what's my responsibility and what's my part in this? Because sometimes I think we take for granted what social media actually does and how it brings out the absolute worst in a lot of us. Well, Passan could not have been a bigger jackass to me one time on social media. So he can kiss my ass. No, seriously. You know, he came on my show. I actually thought Passan was a 90-year-old man. I did. He wrote a book about the arm, and I'm like, stop it. I mean, most kids throw. Who cares? But anyway, he took offense, and he started going at my coaching career, which actually is stellar given the fact that I lost my 3 best players, 5 of my 10 years, and my 2 best, 7 of my 10 years. But Passan doesn't know that. And so, you know what? I think he's a douchebag. And he does. This little guy does hide behind a keyboard. He is. Can you imagine? Look at Angel Hernandez in this picture, and look at this little cheesy 8th grade douchebag Passan. Can you imagine if Passan had to say the things to that man's face and nobody would actually prosecute anything, and this was the 70s? Passan's a coward, always has been, but I like it. I like it, a lot of us. And I think the easiest way to do this and the easiest standard by which any of us, frankly, should live is, would we say it to the man's face? Of course you wouldn't do that, Passan. You wouldn't say what you said to my face. Any of the stuff we say on social media about Angel Hernandez, if you were confronted by Angel Hernandez, would you say it to his face? Would you call him the names that you call him online? Would you tell him how terrible he is? Well, you would. I mean, look at that. He has to have a step stool, Passan does. So Passan's full of shit here. Now Passan is doing the ESPN thing. He's a baseball insider. He's supposed to tell you things about baseball, but he's become popular. He's become popular, so now Jeff Passan's a philosopher. We just saw it with this Cameron Brink lady. She's a draft choice in the WNBA, and now she's a philosopher. Passan's doing the same thing. Yes, Jeff, give us your philosophy. I'm dying to hear it, Jeff. As a baseball insider, as a guy that sniffs around the asses of managers and players and begs people to give him information. Yes, Jeff, you are absolutely the perfect source to tell us how men should act. Jesus. I mean, the world is just nuts. The world is insane. I think it's just we expect. Oh, hold on a second. I ain't going away. Whoa. A lot of that stuff, frankly, led to him going away. He got tired of it. He got tired of the social media firestorm that exists. Frankly, I will acknowledge that is understandable because there are parts of his job where he was generally bad, and it was magnified by the ubiquity of baseball on social media now. We just had this echo chainer of Angel Hernandez awfulness that I think in the end wound up being his undoing. I think it was just that we expect a certain level of competence for our official. When that level of competence is not reached, and when that compact between the league and its fans that we're going to give you competent enough officiating, umpiring, whatever, when that compact is breached, as frequently as it seemed to be with Angel Hernandez, that's where the league, frankly, needed to step in and do something. Well, he sucked at his job. And in this case, it was, hey, we're going to offer you a handsome retirement package so you stop being one of the main characters in our daily program, because that's what he was. He had become like a villain who comes back every so often when you least expect it. It's like, oh, boy, Angel's trending again. We got an Angel day today. What'd he do this time, as opposed to, oh, boy, we got a big home run by Ohtani, or, oh, boy, the Guardians are playing amazing baseball. I love when Jeff Passan becomes a philosopher. I get a kick out of it. I'm sure there's a lot of you baseball guys. Passan's great, man. No, he's not. He's a little twerp. Anyway, it is what it is. Trevor Bauer is continuing. Trevor Bauer is continuing to pressure Major League Baseball to give him a fair shot. He's right. Asking the question, what about my fair shot? Shohei Ohtani. Hey, man. Shohei Ohtani. Hey, man, we got to save face here. You know how that went. Shohei Ohtani just wants a fair shot. Asking the question, what about my fair shot? What about it? In light of Major League Baseball concluding Ohtani's investigation. What about my case where I also was never charged with anything and where I'm also the victim of fraud? Why am I not allowed to go back to playing? Let me ask you, Nick, you got a problem with Bauer not being in the league? Huh?
Say that one more time.
My man's not ready. You're not ready. You got to be ready. You got a problem with Bauer not being in the league?
Of course I do. The thing is, I don't think he's doing as well as he should be in the league that he's in now in Japan. Because if you look at Yamamoto, between what he was doing in Japan versus what he's doing in the U.S., I don't think Trevor Bauer can really come back and put up the historic numbers that he was when he was in the league before. But I still think he deserves a fair shot.
You're telling me that he's not he's not better than a lot of these guys pitching?
He's been out of the MLB for so long. He's gonna come back, and it's gonna be a bit of a wake up call. He's probably gonna be a number 5 guy in the rotation.
Yeah. I mean, but I think you know what? Here's what I've said about it. I've said this: if Bauer was good enough, somebody would have him in for a bullpen session. Yeah, they just would, right? Unless there's other things involved. If there's other things at Major League Baseball, Rob Manfred, his office knows. But there's also where Bauer was really critical of Major League Baseball, so maybe Manfred is putting a directive out and he's being petty. Either way, I don't like it, Nick. I don't like it.
I I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of it either. Again, I do think that Bauer deserves a second chance because at the end of the day, he's still a major league pitcher. Just how is he going to respond when he gets into the league? He could blow the doors off of the league when he gets in here. But at the same time, it's like, I don't think a lot of players in the MLB are too fond of him, and maybe that echoes into the general manager's office and into the the upper echelons of every baseball club. So it really could also just be a clubhouse thing. Like he could be like a really problematic figure. We just don't know. There's obviously a hidden reason behind it.
Stop at the period. Stop at the period. Stop at the period. Because when you stop and then you keep going, like I don't know what. Just stop at the period. There's a great saying in stop at the period. You made your point. Stop at the period. So now, are we glad Angel Hernandez is done? You're a baseball guy.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Are you kidding me? I am very glad that he's out of the league. It's like you said before. Now CB Buckner's got to go. I was very happy when Joe West is out, although he's like, he's probably like a grandpa, sweet old guy. He's probably a nice guy off the field, but on the field, he sucked. I'm glad he's gone. CB Buckner's got to go. Angel Hernandez is just one step, in the right direction.
Was he that bad, or was it made up that Angel Hernandez was that bad?
No, he was dog ass. You don't have to. Yeah, no. There's no denying it. No arguing it. You can look at all the stats from golly knows how long ago. He's been in the league for 32 years. I'm surprised he made it 20. That dude was crap.
That is stopping at the period right there. That dude was crap. Just straight crap. That's it. Crap. Hey, by the way, we got to congratulate Nick last night. Nick last night took tell him what you did last night. Tell him what you did.
No one believed me. I said at least one strikeout last night, Shohei Ohtani. Nobody liked it. And unfortunately, that prop wasn't available. The only available one, the lowest one, was over 1.5 strikeouts. And I was like, a little 50-50 on it. I was like, screw it. Scared money don't make no money. So I took 1.5 over, and he struck out crazy 3 pitches, just Skeens blew Ohtani away. Second at bat, though, he hit a freaking bomb, this dead center field off a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. But Aroldis Chapman made Ohtani buckle at 103 with the craziest movement I'd ever seen him throw. And right then and there, I was just like, holy, I just won my bet.
So when Chapman, it had to be the last at bat, right? Because Chapman comes in late, so it was going to be Ohtani's last at bat. And Chapman made him look sick.
Chapman's now reduced to the setup man. David Bednar is the closer for the Pirates. So it had to have been the 8th inning, and he struck him out on just this insane fastball. So it was late in the inning. It was Ohtani's last at bat. I think the score was like 10-6. The Pirates put up a 7 spot in the second inning, which is unreal. But then again, James Paxton isn't the best, pitcher in the world, but still, it was a good night.
I'm assuming that there was like women everywhere laying around. What was the celebration like when you won?
Bottle service and velvet ropes. I only do it one way. It's Dan Dakich style.
Yeah. Yeah, baby. Paparazzi, bottle service, velvet ropes.
Everywhere.
Hello, people. Hello, people. Hello, people. Hey, thanks for being here. If you're an OutKick fan, we give it to you straight. Here on Don't At Me, we have a ton of fun. More content right here. And while you're at it, sack the hell up and be sure to hit that subscribe button now.